is this guy? A couple of days ago, I made a video breaking down the Spec Ops trailer for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and for the most part, the trailer was pretty easy to break down and everything was pretty straightforward. Except for the very ending of the trailer where we saw this scene. So everyone immediately got talking, asking who is this mystery man, and I think I have a pretty good idea. In today's video, we are going to break down who this bad guy can potentially be. We're going to look at it from a bunch of different angles, and hopefully by the end of the video, we will have it narrowed down to that one individual character. So the question is, how are we going to do this? And it's actually relatively simple. Basically, what we are going to be doing here is figuring out who this character is by process of elimination. Now, before we dive into the video, I just wanted to let you guys know about a couple of things we have coming up. So, of course, in the next couple of weeks, Modern Warfare is actually going to be launched. And with that, I'm going to be doing a couple of giveaways, both on this channel and over on my Twitter. So my Twitter will be the first link down in the description. And over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing some game giveaways and some other stuff with Modern Warfare right around the corner. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, if you don't already follow my Twitter, check out that link down in the description, and hopefully maybe you can win something. But this video, so as far as the rest of this video, it's going to be diving into who is this character. And generally speaking, when I create one of these theories, I'm about 95 to 100% sure. In this video, I'm about 80 to 85% sure. There's a little bit of room for error with this one, and you'll see exactly what I mean as we talk about these characters. So without further ado, let the process of elimination begin. So the clip that we're talking about today starts out with a soldier laying on the ground. As it turns out, we know who this soldier is. He's the default soldier for the allegiance operators within multiplayer. As you can see, it's an exact same match here. So automatically, we know that the character standing above him, shooting at him, is obviously a bad guy. And this kind of leaves us with two options. Either it's a new bad guy that's new to Modern Warfare 2019, or one that they have brought back from previous games, since we know that they are already planning on doing that. So it kind of leaves us with 5 options. The new bad guys being the Wolf, Roman Barkov, which we really haven't seen much of. Then we have the old bad guys, including Vladimir Makarov, Imran Zakhaev, and Al-Assad. All of these characters are an option of to who this mystery character could actually be. And the way we're going to figure out who this is simply eliminating one character at a time, starting off on the left with the Wolf. So the Wolf, aka Omar Soliman, is one of the main bad guys within the game.
But we are all killers here, no?
But as far as the Wolf goes, we know that he is the head of Al-Qatala, the terrorist organization that we are going to face in Urzikstan. Now, after reading a little bit more about Omar Soliman, it turns out that he is actually fighting forces from both the West, aka the United States, as well as Russians as well. He is not fighting alongside the Russians. Now, we know based off of Spec Ops that Spec Ops takes place in Verdansk, Russia. Aka, what this means, Omar Soliman, or the Wolf, would not be there as a bad guy. He is fighting the bad guys in Russia, which means we can take the Wolf off the list. Also, just taking a quick look at the silhouette that we can see, to me, it doesn't really look like the Wolf either, but that's beside the point. We can eliminate him anyway. Up next, we have Roman Barkov, the leader of Barkov's forces. Obviously, he is Russian, so it's very possible he could be in Verdansk. Now, the thing we don't know about Roman Barkov is, well, really anything. All we know as of right now is that he might be this guy that we are seeing in the image here. And if he is this guy, I don't think he is the guy in the silhouette. Reason being, the guy in the picture is wearing very wintry clothes, whereas the guy in the silhouette is not at all. The problem is, I don't know enough about Roman Barkov to eliminate him completely. So I'm not going to take him off the list. He is going to be left as a question mark. And this is the reason why I say I'm not 100% sure. I simply just don't know enough about Roman Barkov. The next character we have to look at is none other than Vladimir Makarov, the bad guy from both Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. Now, this was where things get a little bit more interesting, and we have to look at the picture in a little bit more detail. So, first things first, we have to look at the clothes, and it's a lot easier to see the clothes if we just change the saturation of the image just a little bit. You can see that the character is wearing cargo pants, some sort of button-up top with a belt. Now, if we look at Makarov in any of his pictures, he is always either wearing dress clothes or a bulletproof vest. One of the two all of the time. And that is not what this character is wearing whatsoever. So that is one reason we can scratch Makarov off the list. The second reason is the weapon. As you can clearly tell, the character is carrying a Desert Eagle. In almost all of the cutscenes that Makarov is in, he's either using an M9 or a 5.7. Now, there is one circumstance where he does use a Desert Eagle, but it's because he picks it up off the ground. It is not his weapon of choice, so that is another reason why we have to say this is not Vladimir Makarov, and he gets scratched off the list. Now, while we're talking about the Desert Eagle, there is one bad guy who always uses the Desert Eagle, and that would be Al-Assad. In fact, there is a scene in Call of Duty 4 that almost exactly mimics the scene from Spec Ops. Let me show you them back to back so you can see what I mean. So when I first compared that, I almost immediately just had to give it to Al-Assad and say that this has to be him. Even when you look at the silhouette once again, you can see those kind of baggy things off to the side that I thought were compartments within his bulletproof vest. But then when I really looked at the image a lot closer, none of the clothing matched Al-Assad. Even the outline of his head does not match having aviators or the hat that he wears on his head. So none of that matched. But the cutscene was so damn similar. So then I went on to compare it with Imran Zakhaev. And this is where things started to get really interesting, because I realized when I started to look at Imran Zakhaev that the character model looked a lot like him. Remember those bags I was talking about that looked like Al-Assad's bulletproof vest? Well, those are too low to be a part of the bulletproof vest. They're actually below the waistline, and when you look at it again, it actually looks a little bit more like a trench coat. Now, the second thing on the silhouette that you can actually make out is a belt buckle. You can see a belt buckle with the shirt kind of flowing beneath that belt buckle. Now, as it turns out, Al-Assad and Zakhaev both wear belts. However, Al-Assad's is a bit more like a plastic clasp that clips together, whereas Imran Zakhaev's is a little bit more of this metal belt buckle. If you take a closer look at it, it does have like that Soviet Union star on it, but I did also find some images where it did look a little bit more like the belt buckle that we were seeing in this silhouette here. Also, as you can see by Zakhaev, he once again has that shirt that flows underneath his belt, which is almost identical to the silhouette. So based off of the character model, it actually looks a little bit more like Zakhaev. And once again, it comes back to that deagle that we saw in the silhouette. Once again, Al-Assad does use it in that cutscene in Call of Duty 4, but you gotta remember who gave it to him in the first place. Now, there is one part in the cutscene from the trailer that it does kind of look like this character does have a second arm, but it is very difficult to see, and it also depends on where this falls in the Call of Duty timeline, whether or not Price actually did shoot his arm off or not. Remember, this is not a continuation of the other Modern Warfare games, it's on a completely different timeline, so that's hard to tell. But also in that exact same picture, it kind of looks like the folded over coat that Zakhaev does wear after he loses his arm. So, based off of that, it's very difficult to tell. But the one other piece of evidence that makes me lean towards Zakhaev is that we already know he's in the game. On the multiplayer maps, we found the little logo that shows off Zakhaev's arms as a company within Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Oh yeah, on top of that, I forgot to mention this is another thing. Imran Zakhaev is Russian, and Spec Ops takes place in Verdansk, Russia, so another reason why Zakhaev would be there. Now, there is one thing and one thing alone that I could not match to any character, and it is the watch. As you are seeing here on the wrist of this character, there's a watch. None of the characters that we have seen so far have this watch, so that's like the one piece of evidence that makes me actually think that maybe this character is Roman Barkov, just because we haven't seen the watch, we haven't seen him before, and maybe that links those two together. But based off of everything I'm seeing, the location of Spec Ops, the character model, the Desert Eagle, I think that this character is none other than Imran Zakhaev. But if you disagree with me, you can let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you think it's Al-Assad, if you think it's Roman Barkov, let me know what you think. I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say. Like I said, this is my theory, and like I said, I'm only like 80% sure, but that's a pretty good percent. So like I said, let me know what you think. Also, if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could hit that like button. And as always, if you're new to the channel and want to stay up to date on everything Modern Warfare, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you have notifications on. I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, peace out.
Maybe you should take it slow.